We would like to do some more problems together. I would really like that too. If we were in school, of course, we'd be doing many more together on the board. So let's take a look at this next handout. If you don't have it printed, fine, copy the problems. This video, we're going to do the odds. I'll make a second video. If you feel like you want more practice together, you can watch the second one. That's the evens, but it's really like the left and the right side are mirror images of each other. So one of the videos may be sufficient. Okay. When we factor, remember, always look for the common factor first. And here there is one. We're going to pull out the 4. So I can pull out that 4 and I'll get x squared minus divide out of 4, y squared. Okay, so now I'm looking, can I factor it again? Well, there are 2 terms and I have x squared. So because of the squared variables, even variables, then I probably can factor again. I'm going to try. 2 terms, both squares with a minus sign, so the only thing it can be is difference of squares. Split that evenly in the front, split that evenly in the back, means square root, plus and minus, and bring down the 4. That is that answer. Looking over, oh, we're going to do just this side, I forgot. I remind myself. You know what? Maybe I'll just do this. Okay. That was number 1. Here's number 3. Something common? Nope, nothing common to any of these guys. So now what I'm going to do is count my terms. 1, 2, 3. It's a trinomial with a coefficient, but I'm noticing both of these terms in the front and back are perfect squares. So square root of the front, 3x. Square root of the back, 4y. Multiply them together, 12xy, and if I double the 12, yep, it's 24, and that's a plus, so it's going to work. 3x minus 4y squared is going to be your factored terms. Okay, moving on. Okay, so let's see. Oh, it even tells us factor out something common. Well, let's pretend it didn't. Look for a common factor, 4 and k. This leaves me with a 4k plus. Remember, when the entire term comes out, we need that one placeholder. So if we distribute back in, we get back to the original. Number 7, look for something common. I don't have anything common. So now I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, do grouping. Group my first 2, there's a plus sign here, so I can just group the last 2. Pull out something common, that looks like an n squared. I'm left with 5n. Plus n squared came out, so it's just a 3. Plus, over here I'm going to pull out a 5. Divide out of 5, that's 5n. Plus, divide out of 5, it's 3. These guys match. So, 5n plus 3 and n squared plus 5 are your factors. Okay, let's look at the odds on the next page. Let's begin with number 9. Always look for something common first. Oh yeah, let's pull out a 3. M squared plus 9m minus 10. Okay, so I factor this out, and now I'm thinking, all right, well, there's an m squared, so I can probably factor again. You can factor again. So let's set this up with 2 sets of parentheses, because I have 3 terms. And the first guy has another coefficient, m and m. Multiply to get a negative. Only one way to do that, positive times a negative. So we're multiplying to get 10. It's 10 and 1 and 5 and 2. And you're subtracting to get 9. Multiply to 10, subtract to 9. Well, that's it. And you want a positive 9. Positive goes with the bigger number. That's 1. Don't forget your 3. That's all that happens there. Number 11. Nothing common to any of these. It's got 3 terms, a trinomial, and no coefficient. This one's an easier one. A in the front of each. Multiply to 30, positive 30, and add to get a positive 13. So it's plus and plus. Multiply to 30, multiply to 30, add to 13. It just came to me. You can list all of the possibilities, but if it comes to you, just kind of plug it in and use it. Okay, number 12. Something common? Nope. Nothing common there, so we're going to move on to sets of parentheses because I have a trinomial coefficient. So I'm going to split this up with 2m and m. Okay, so at least I have a prime number. I set something in stone. These back numbers have to multiply to 15. So I'm going to get 1 and 15 for my back numbers, or 3 and 5. Okay, so now we're going to kind of guess and check. We want to multiply to 15 and subtract to get 7. Multiply to 15, subtract to get 7. So if we want 1 and 15, well, that's 30 minus 1. Well, it's not 7. So let's get rid of that. 15 and 1. 2 minus 15. Well, that's 13. So that's that way. 3 and 5. 10 minus 3. Yeah, that's 7. All right, so let's write that darker. So now I know that I have 10m and 3m. And I do subtract to get 7, but I need a negative 7. So the negative goes with this larger product, and that's the plus. So when I multiply to get the 10, that's where the minus goes. When I multiply to get my 3, that's where the plus goes, and this is factored. One more, number 15. Look for something common. Yeah, looks like I can pull out a 5. Let's do it. 5, so that's 7x squared plus, pull out a 5. That's going to be 3, 8, minus, divide out of 5, 2, 4, I think. Let's go for it. Yikes. All right, so now I have 3 terms. It's a coefficient in the front, so, but it's prime at least, so 7x and x. I'm going to bring down this 5, multiplying to get a 24. 1 and 24. So you can see 1 on my 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Okay, that's negative. So I have to multiply to get 24 and subtract to get 38. Well, if I put 1 and 24 in here, that's not going to work. 2 and 12. Well, if I put 12 here, it's way too big, because 7 times 12. If I put it here, that would be 12, and if that's a 2, 14. That doesn't subtract, so both of those are wrong, 3 and 8, possibly. If an 8 is here and a 3 is here, 50-something minus 3, forget it. Let's make this the 8 and that the 3. 21 minus 8, nope, that's not going to give me 38. Looks like this is the one. 7 times 6 is 42. Well, that's good. 42 and 4. So this is 42x, and that is 4x, and I need to subtract them. That means one of each sign, and I want a positive 38, plus and minus. So when I multiply to get the 42, that's where the plus goes. And when I multiply to get this, that's where the minus goes. Hope that worked for you.